Welcome on into Inside Hawkeye Football, and really that is what this rivalry is all about. What you guys just saw here. Hawkeyes beat Iowa State on a crazy play. It honestly was. I mean, we see this here. Iowa State just did not look very good there. And we got a lot to talk about. Because clearly that's something that if you're Iowa State, you just don't want to be happening to you. So let's talk a little bit about that play. I mean, it hits his back. What is he trying to do there? Iowa State's gonna have time. They're gonna have no timeouts. But I mean, they only needed a field goal. I think, honestly, you might just want to go for the block there. Iowa State making big mistakes down this stretch. And I'm just going to say that Iowa playing a little better than them down the stretch. Okay, we'll talk Iowa defeating Iowa State 18-17. The Hawkeyes have now won 5 meetings in a row in this series. This is big. I mean, there's Iowa State fans telling me that the Cyclones are going to beat the Hawkeyes, and I'm like, no, they're not. But I knew it was a good team that Campbell had this year out in Ames. I didn't think it was this good. I mean, Iowa making the mistakes in this game early, giving up those 2 touchdowns, which if Iowa wouldn't have given up those 2 touchdowns on broken defensive plays, we're talking about Iowa dominating this game. But Iowa State made the plays when they had to and got the points early. They made Iowa, between the weather delays, Iowa State scored a touchdown, and that was really the reason why Iowa State was in the game late, is because they had the touchdowns really in those key moments of the game. And Iowa has just got to ramp it up a little bit in how they're playing here. Okay, so we look ahead to next week. Iowa does not have a game. And after that, they get Middle Tennessee at home. They should take care of business. And then they get the 2 toughest back-to-backs that they have on their schedule, with Michigan on the road and then Penn State at home. They got to win at least one of those 2 games if we're going to be talking about Iowa in Indianapolis. They cannot drop both of those games. They're currently 1-0 in Big Ten play, the number 1 in the Big Ten West, because no one else in the Big Ten West has played a Big Ten football game. At least they're not at the bottom. If they would have lost to Rutgers earlier. Okay, so we look at this team here for Iowa. Nate Stanley, another big play on 3rd down, and I believe it was 22 that he made a big throw. I like how he played there. Nate Stanley has room to improve, and plays like that are ways that Nate Stanley is going to reach good potential here at Iowa. I mean, the Hawkeyes looked all right. But I mean, this was not the best Iowa team I've seen all year. The weather delay, the road environment may have been a reason, and it's good to get this out of the way with a victory and not with a loss. It's a teaching moment. that you're going to be in dogfights. And it's nice to see Iowa win a close game, because I think either it was last year or the year before that, Iowa was losing close games like crazy. Maybe it was over the last whole decade where Iowa just cannot close out games. And they did in this one. They really shouldn't have. Bad clock management by Kirk Ferentz, running a pass play on third down there. And it's not even a pass that's going to get you a first down. You got to go for the win, or you just got to run the ball and give them only a minute to move down the field. And I mean, they also had a false start on that before the punt. They were just making big mistakes. They got out of there with a win. Iowa has a lot to improve on. One thing they got to improve on here is that defense. I think it's because of some injuries there on defense, and the bye week should hopefully help with that before they get into Big Ten play. Of course, Middle Tennessee. They should take care of business against Middle Tennessee. But the injuries the secondary looked really bad on two different plays. The two touchdowns for Iowa State were not red zone touchdowns. They were big play touchdowns. I mean, Iowa's got to play a little more conservative because they were stopping the run. Iowa State ran a few times. They got a few decent plays on the run, but once they crossed into Iowa territory, the running game really shut down. And that's kind of what the Iowa defense needs to be doing down the road. They get Michigan, Penn State. I mean, those are two Big Ten East teams that see Rose Bowl potential, at least this year. Maybe in the college football playoff, especially in Michigan. Iowa team that we got. There's a lot of doubt. This win, I have a lot of doubt after seeing how they played in the game. It wasn't a regular football game, and it's a game that you're very thankful that you got a bye week to recover from that, because it was an ugly game from the weather standpoint, from the offensive standpoint, and especially from the defensive standpoint. They get out of there with a win. They move up. They're now 18th in the rankings. The graphic was produced before the new rankings came out. They're now 18th in the rankings. And everything's still ahead of them. They still get to play their 6 games against the Big Ten West. Wisconsin has looked the best out of the Big Ten West. I'll have a video ranking my top 10 Big Ten teams. I've got Wisconsin up above Iowa. I do not think that Iowa is the best team in the Big Ten West right now. They are not playing like it. But of course, it matters who's the best in the Big Ten games. Iowa's only played one Big Ten game. They played pretty good, 30-0. Can't play much better than that in a Big Ten football game. But I mean, very tough schedule for Iowa in Big Ten play. They get Michigan on the road, Wisconsin on the road, Northwestern on the road, and Nebraska on the road. Really, 4 games that just you really see games that they could lose, that they have to play away from home. Iowa played first 2 games, I get it, was against lower competition, but they played a lot better at home, especially offensively. They could execute a lot better. I mean, I think we're gonna have another episode next week. We got more time to talk. We're just gonna end it here and talk just about Iowa beating Iowa State, because it was an emotional victory. We'll be back next week to really talk about we're a quarter of the way into the season, 3-0. The 9 games left, and the 9 games that they've got left are against legit teams. Legit teams, man. I mean, except Middle Tennessee, but so that'll do it for us here. Again, I was so happy to see the bad play from Iowa State. See you next time. Peace out.